Hi, my name is Kirk Hamilton, your host of the Staying Healthy Today show. This is a show where I bring you key experts in the fields of nutrition, prevention, integrative, and lifestyle medicine. Today's show topic is the retina, a window into the chronic disease epidemic with an emphasis on age-related macular degeneration and diabetes. An interview with Shailesh Kaushal, MD, PhD, who is a retinal specialist, ophthalmologist extraordinaire, impeccably trained from Johns Hopkins, went to MIT, got a PhD in nutritional biochemistry. So obviously a very educated ophthalmologist. And he gave a talk on chronic diseases and metabolic causes and approaches to chronic diseases at the HEAT conference where I was in Phuket, Thailand last weekend. Fast turnaround. And one of the things I want to talk to him about is he would say that when he looks into the eye and looks at the retina, he can see at a very early stage Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, not just the eye disorders, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. And the reason is there's such a phenomenal oxygen demand and blood flow through the eye. It has the highest in the body, as a matter of fact, per unit weight. And so I wanted to ask him about his native country. He came over when he was 3 or 4 years of age, is India, because India has had in fact, it's the country in the world that has the most diabetes, and it's been in epidemic proportions and exploding. And so they'll have some 300 million people have diabetes by the year 2020. 200 million will be in China, and 100 million will be in the United States. So we have a diabetic epidemic around the world. And so I asked him initially what may be the causes. And what happens is in most rapidly growing economies, and India is one of them, is people move from rural areas with a more simple diet, unprocessed diet, less animal products, and less processed foods and sugars to city centers where the jobs are. And of course what happens is there's in India now a tremendous amount of processed food, fried food, fast food establishments, much more sugar and sodas being consumed, and vegetarianism has actually gone down. So more animal products being consumed. And with that, along with lack of physical activity, because now you're working in more urban areas and there's less physical work during the day, that's a prescription for diabetes. But it is also a prescription not only for the epidemic of diabetes, but for other chronic diseases. So we got into talking about the eye as well, and that obviously is his passion. He practices now in Florida, where he has 2 clinics that special in chronic disease, but also in obviously retinal diseases. And so since the eye has such a phenomenal metabolic metabolism that is so high and so much demand for oxygen and blood, it needs tremendous, number one, antioxidant support, so nutrient-dense foods. Age-related macular degeneration, which is one of the causes of blindness, one of the leading causes, cataracts is first, but is a very scary one because when you lose your vision, along with losing your memory, those are the 2 top concerns of patients. So is age-related macular degeneration reversible? Well, there have been some studies using a 5 or 6 nutrient multivitamin called the AREDS studies, AREDS, and they have shown some benefit, but not real improvement in visual acuity. He believes that since epidemiologic assessments have said that the average person in America may have up to 40 different nutrients deficient, that he recommends a multivitamin mineral high potency versus a product that would have 5 supplements. And then he also has some special nutrients that he likes for the eye and other metabolic diseases, but that includes turmeric. In fact, he said he'd like to have it in the water. The acetyl L-carnitine, alpha lipoic acid, a few herbs. But one of the most important things is to have essential fatty acids of the omega-3 type. And he really doesn't care how people get them as long as they're high quality omega-3 fatty acids, because the highest concentration in the body is in the retina. And so he encourages that in all his patients. And even though he's a plant-based person, he would encourage you to get them in any way you can. So you can get them through fish oil. You can get them through algae oil. He's very fond of krill oil because it has astaxanthin and antioxidants in it. And actually, plain old cod liver oil because it has some retinol compounds that are of benefit and some other nutrients. So treating the eye, and kind of rounding up this, treating the eye can be very similar in diet to treating diabetes. All these conditions, the chronic diseases of aging, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, the eye diseases, there is a tremendous importance to controlling blood sugar and keeping the blood sugar level even, insulin levels even. And you do that by eating no processed carbohydrate. When you eat a carbohydrate, you eat it in its most complex form: lentils, peas, beans, yams, sweet potatoes, that type of thing, berries. You don't eat processed carbohydrate that has oil and sugar in it. He's very concerned about when you eat processed foods like processed carbohydrates, you have added omega-6 oils, which can antagonize the omega-3 and be more pro-inflammatory. So you want to reduce processed foods, small amounts of animal food if you're going to eat it, lots of colored vegetables, and get some physical activity. And he says eye disorders like macular degeneration can be slowed and reversed sometimes quickly, sometimes very slow. And he gives the analogy like a tanker instead of a speedboat. You kind of slow the progression and slowly turn it around. And he has all the highest technological tools to assess the eye, and also vascular health as well in his clinic, because that is so critically important to eye health and other chronic diseases. So I highly encourage you to listen to this interview at stayinghealthytoday.com. I think you'll enjoy it. There's an extensive written summary below it. And until next time, stay and be well, and I'll talk to you soon.